Okay, this video is Dr. Gregor Corrected. Okay, so first of all, Dr. Gregor, he's obviously a very intelligent guy. He's very bright, he's very articulate, he's clever, he's funny. He reads a lot. He spends tons of time reading nutrition articles and he really knows a lot. He has a very, very advanced knowledge of nutrition and health. Okay, and he is a good teacher. His videos are clear. He gets to the point. He explains things in a nice, logical fashion. So that's all good. He does a lot of good things. He's also skinny. You know, it's good for vegans to be skinny. They're good role models for people. You see that the person talking about vegan walks the walk, talks the talk, and has skinny themselves. He's made a lot of good educational videos. I myself have learned a lot from him. I've enjoyed watching his videos. He's a very knowledgeable guy and a very good teacher. So all of that is good. Okay, then why do I say Dr. Gregor Corrected here? There are some things he says that I disagree with. This is my opinion based on my study of the nutrition. First of all, he says that it's okay to eat MSG. And I find that an amazing statement. I find that a ridiculous statement because MSG, it's a brain excitotoxin. Yes, it's variable in terms of how much blood-brain barrier breakdown people have, but the circumventricular organs around the center of the brain lack a blood-brain barrier, okay? And Russell Blaylock wrote a very entertaining, good book called Excitotoxins. And there's a lot of literature on MSG, and I know top-notch physicians who get migraine headaches from it. I know people who've done research on it. It's a flavor enhancer that gets people addicted to junk food. There's good reason to believe also that it has the potential to cause brain damage. Catherine Reed is the famous biochemistry lady who cured her daughter of autism by removing MSG and MFG, manufactured free glutamate, from the child's food. So there are very real reasons. There's a reason why the company hides MSG. They always call it something else, almost always barley malt, malt extract, hydrolyzed vegetable protein, all kinds of names. It's got like 50 different names of ways to hide it to get it into the food. Okay, and he says it's okay to eat that. Actually, that's something that should be avoided. Okay, next thing is he says caffeine is actually good for people. I completely disagree with that. Caffeine mimics acute stress response. It increases the major two stress hormones. That's cortisol, which suppresses your immune system, increases your blood lipids, increases your blood glucose, mimics diabetes, okay? Also catecholamines, that's adrenaline, noradrenaline, same thing as epinephrine, norepinephrine. Raise your blood pressure, you don't want that. Predisposes to insomnia, makes it harder to sleep. Cortisol also can predispose to insomnia. It's a vasoconstrictor, tightens up your arteries, so your blood pressure goes up, you get decreased perfusion. It's a double negative for the brain. It increases glutamate transmission at the hippocampal neuron synapses, so it increases metabolic rate of the brain neurons, while simultaneously it's a vasoconstrictor, so it drops the oxygen glucose delivery. So that's pushing you in the direction of apoptosis. That's not a favorable thing. Okay, he's also part of what I would call the high-fat movement of vegans. Basically, McDougall, Pritikin, myself, Esselstyn, Campbell, we're promoters of low-fat vegan diet because we believe, based on our study of the literature, that that's a much healthier way to go. Now, there are some vegans promoting a high-fat vegan diet, and I don't know exactly what percent fat he promotes, but he promotes a lot of fat foods. He promotes olive oil, which is an obviously 100% fat food. He promotes nuts, avocados, omega-3s. Those are all very high-fat foods, okay? Omega-3s are pure fat. Nuts are 80 to 90% fat. Avocados are a very high-fat food. So, it's not easy for people to eat that and not start plugging up their arteries. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't believe in this good fat stuff. I've given numerous lectures to that effect why I think that's a bad idea. He promotes olive oil. I think olive oil is, a terrible food. It's liquid fat that's highly processed. And it's not just MUFA, monounsaturated fatty acid. It's also PUFA, omega-6 PUFA largely, and it's also saturated fat, like around 14% quite often. Okay, he promotes cyanocobalamin version of B12. Why not methylcobalamin? Why would you want cyano in anything you eat? I know he gives reasons for its availability, etc., but I would personally go with methylcobalamin. McDougall goes with methylcobalamin. Okay, he promotes soy. I think there's tons of negative information on soy. I would never eat soy, okay? I think soy is perhaps soy and olive oil are like the two most overrated foods around. Gosh. There's other people who do this too. Neil Bernard is also a very bright guy who should know better. He promotes soy too. And you have to wonder, is industry, making it worth their while? I don't know if that's true or not, but why would anybody promote soy? If you really study it, go through all the papers, go back to the papers before it became profitable, and you see all the problems it caused with regard to male reproduction, female reproduction, precocious puberty, goitrogenic harmful effects on the thyroid. It's not good. Okay, and then the way it's processed in the modern world, GMO with hexane, not good. Okay. All right, what else? He recommends vasectomy for birth control. I think that's a bad idea. Vasectomy, I've seen tons and tons of complications of vasectomy. Guys with their balls hurt the rest of their life, and it's irreversible, you know. Condoms, good birth control, and, you know, it's reversible. You don't have to deal with it, you know. I actually had a friend of mine, he had a vasectomy with his first wife, and they had 3 kids together, then he got divorced, married a new woman, she wanted to have kids. He had 1 kid, then he insisted on getting a repeat vasectomy, he had reversed it earlier, and then his new wife wanted more kids. And this guy's really tall, he's like 6'7", this guy, a friend of mine, is a super tall guy. And so his wife wanted him to reverse his vasectomy, have another kid, he didn't want to have another kid. And I said, I could help you out with that. And he said, no thanks. He didn't want any bald midgets walking around his house. There's no shorties if I got involved in that. So anyways, he promotes tea. And there's other people who drink tea. McDougall himself says he drinks a lot of tea. McDougall claims that the aluminum in tea is not much absorbed. Even so, tea tends to have caffeine in it. McDougall says his doesn't have caffeine in it. So it also tends to concentrate F minus. Some of them have PB in it. You know, I think tea is a bad idea for people. But I do know that there are some people, and there's some pretty successful people who like it or promote it. And I do know the Kenya marathoners drink a lot of tea, and they're very successful. So this is just my opinions here. Everybody's welcome to have their own opinion, but, you know, viewers, in my experience, they like to hear when there's a disagreement because it focuses their attention on the topic, and sometimes it helps them to decide what they want for themselves. So, like I said, the guy is very, very smart, and he's a very good teacher, and he's done tons of good videos. But these are just a couple areas where I see it differently in the nutrition topics.